Okay, guys, I'm going to get my hands off of the uh, speaker. I just want to talk about my favorite film of last year. And I'm going to talk about Godzilla Minus One. I personally loved this movie. This is my short review, or probably a little longer, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to say, man, that came out wrong, or I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. It's just I talk weird sometimes, and I stutter. I'm very insecure about that right now. I'm not insecure. I'm just I don't know. But yeah, Godzilla Minus One. This movie is great. I loved it. It brought me back to GMK Godzilla. It was like that dark, visceral version of Godzilla that did not care about humans. He hated humans. It was scary as fuck. It was awesome. This movie is incredible. It had just such a good tone too. Yeah, I'm trying to see where I'm holding it, if I'm holding it right. But it just has such a good tone. It was dark. It wasn't it was just so good. It was the original but better. And I really love the original Godzilla. I just think this one is infinitely more rewatchable and does its message better than the original Godzilla. And does its message better than the original Godzilla. Bold statement, I know. I love this movie. I always loved Godzilla with this big ass collection. This is insanely huge. This is not even all of it. I have way more in there. But I love this movie. It made me very emotional. Just the fact that it focused on a kamikaze pilot. It made it. It was the original Godzilla. It was the original Godzilla, but way more personal. And I loved that. I loved that it was like that. And it's a good movie. I think Godzilla is a dark menace in this movie. It's literally GMK, like I said before, like I said before, and man, he is scary. He is even scarier than GMK Godzilla. And the characters are all just so good. Made me cry. I was the closest to tears I've ever been in a movie. Actually, second, because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was pretty damn sad. But this movie is a close second. This movie was so emotional. Godzilla Minus One made me happy. My first Toho Godzilla movie in theaters, and it made me emotional. It's incredible. I also have the Godzilla the Ride figure. I hope they use this design in another Godzilla Minus One sequel. I hope this Godzilla fights this Godzilla. I would love to see that. But it's just this movie was just such a ride. And honestly, I think that the movie is just the best Godzilla movie. It is. It really is. It stands up there to me with just the best monster movies, not just Godzilla. All monster movies. It's up there with the greats like Jurassic Park, Jaws, all of those movies. It's incredible. And it's awesome that Takashi Yamazaki, the director of this movie, got to meet Steven Spielberg because they were at a dinner for some Oscar thing, and he met him, which was really insane, and I love that. But I don't know, man. This movie is great. The Godzillasaurus form is so cool, even though it's very I don't think it's a Godzillasaurus. I think it's just Godzilla, because it's just his non-irradiated form. The whole Ginza attack scene is so scary. It was so good with with the damn Godzilla music blasting. I loved Godzilla X Kong, but I feel like, or no, I loved Godzilla versus Kong. But the one thing I did not like about that movie is like that they didn't use the Godzilla theme. Even though it doesn't really matter if the Godzilla theme's in it. Just that it doesn't really matter if the Godzilla theme is in it, just as long as it's good music. Then I'm fine. Because GMK did not have the Godzilla theme until the end credits, and that was a sick soundtrack. So it doesn't really matter, but it's still awesome that's in this movie. And man, Godzilla X Kong, it's gonna be so odd hearing a new theme for Mothra. Even though probably every other theme in the movie is probably gonna be sick. I love here's just my little tangent about Tom Holkenborg. I said this on Twitter, or X, but Godzilla, when Tom's at his best, it's incredible. He is such an awesome composer. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a way better score than fucking Godzilla versus Kong. I'm just gonna say that. Felt way more emotions during that soundtrack. Just a way better movie. Sorry, I had to itch my head. Sorry, I had to itch my head. But yeah, that movie's soundtrack, Tom Holkenborg's great. He's an awesome composer. I just think he didn't have enough time to work on Godzilla vs. Kong soundtrack, and it kind of suffered for that. But this movie had a sick soundtrack. If I ever compose a Godzilla movie, I am getting Naoki Sato. If I ever make a Godzilla movie, I'm getting Naoki Sato. He is an awesome composer. Love listening to his other soundtracks. He is just such a great composer. I really want to watch like Takashi Yamazaki's other film that involves the 40s. I think it's called the Eternal Zero or something. That movie looks incredible too. But yeah, Godzilla Minus One. This also deals with the same concept with kamikaze pilots, and the way it does it is just so awesome and is so satisfying. Probably way more satisfying than that movie, than the Eternal Zero, because I think the main character dies in that movie. So this movie does that concept way better with just in a different way. I think just saying that you don't have to sacrifice yourself. You can, your life's not worth this. That kind of message that Godzilla Minus One had. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a really good message, that your life has purpose. Your lives should not be made to die. That's such a satisfying and emotional message. And I love that. I love that message about this movie. Just the PTSD of it, of the main character's sadness that he goes through. It is so powerful and just so emotional. And I love this movie for it. I just think this movie has such a good taste. It's such a good movie. It has such good taste. It's not mean-spirited at all. It's just a good movie. I love this movie. I think it's awesome. It's really good. And I said that a lot, but yeah, I think this movie is awesome. And I really do appreciate it. I'm glad it's getting nominated for the Oscars. I'm really excited to see the sequel to this movie, if they ever make one. I love the Godzilla in this movie. Like I said, I would give it... Okay, here's my thing. I would give it a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie. Go see it. I love this movie. And yeah, hot take. I personally prefer the Godzilla the Ride design, but that's just me. Godzilla the Ride, it just looks cooler to me, which is insane to say because people would not agree with me on that if they ever talk to me. I just know it. People would not agree with me on that. I just really love the Godzilla the Ride design, and I do love the minus one design though. But Godzilla the Ride is just such a good design though. Godzilla the Ride is just such a good design though. Love this design. Love this part of the franchise. Like the Takashi Yamazaki verse or something. You know, it's just such perfect redesigns of the monsters. It's just so awesome. And I really hope that he makes more movies. Like I really do. I really do hope. Oh man, my arm is in the way. Like I really do hope we get more movies with this director because I loved this movie. So that's it, guys. That's my review. Very long, I know, but yeah, I love this movie. It is sick. The best Godzilla movie. Uh, yeah, that's just it. So see you guys later, and have a great day. That's my catchphrase. If you did not know that.